Right. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, okay. Let's just do something a little bit. And just settle down into my feet. And take a little bit front and back. And a little side to side. And it's a little bit of rotation. And roll inside and outside the body. Right, reaching up, taking that deep breath in. And hinging down from the breath out. And last one. And just letting the body loosen on the down. Up, put out the shoulders. And slowly coming up. Just standing, take it into the shoulders. Roll back. And take it forwards. And alternating back. And forwards. And raising up, reaching over. And taking the elbow to the back of the rotation. Yeah, taking to the hips, nice big circles. And change direction. Hands against the knees, bending down, hinging back. Bringing feet together, circling the ankle. And change direction. Great. Rolling the ankles and the wrists. Change in direction. Side. And change. Taking one leg back. Working on a railway track. Pressing the back heel down. Inch the front foot forward. Comfortable. Right, switching over. Switching back. Take a little bit lower. Back heel off the ground. Just floating the knee off the floor. A little bit of a pulse. And switching over. Bringing the legs together, hinging the knees out, step into it. A little bit of pressure with the forearm, pressing in and out. Right, bringing the hands down, lengthen the legs out to the sides. And hinging towards the ground, letting the head reach the floor. Hips, feels comfortable, just taking the hands around the back. Raise them up over the top of the head. Releasing it, walking the hands out, lengthen a little bit through the shoulders, pull hips back, active with the hand. Press the weight into the hands, bring the feet together at the back, and walking out with the heels. Pressing both heels down, raise the hips, push into the hands. Walking the hands and feet together, take into a forward fold. And nice and slow. Yeah, just standard. You want to activate the hands, just bring the hands to the side, just gonna make fists and extend out. Nice strong hands. Rest, extend out. Shake them out a little bit. And then take them to the top. Chin up. Shake them out a little bit. Bringing the forearms into the body, just shooting down with the fingertips. Bringing them to the side, rolling out in a figure of 8. Changing the direction. Taking it out into the shoulders and rolling palms up. Stiff the shoulders a little bit. Last one, just taking a swing. Make this one a nice big one, so you're going to reach up onto the toes. And then as you drop down, let the arms swing and open up to the back. Reach up, swing down, open the body. Full extension at the top. And full flexion at the bottom. Let the arms go towards the end, let them swing back up over the body. Great. Nice, nice. Great. And just take it into the shoulders. A little bit of a rotation. Really some front and back. And last one's just circling the arms. In this case, both arms go the same direction, so just winding through the body. And just play a little bit with the body, just rotating through the movement. As you open up to the back, let the body shift direction a little bit. You're just playing with a back swing of the arm. One goes, the other goes. And just explore the feet a little bit. So rolling through the feet, let the weight shift through the legs. Roll and open. And take it forwards. Same thing, just let the weight shift a little bit through the feet. Really a little bit rolling through the spine. That's what it's just going to a spiral. So use the hands, in this case, in a light lunge position. Back heels off the ground. Reach the back hand up to the sky. The other hand goes down to the floor, and just play with, basically opening up this line. So you've got a spiral going down into the leg from the hip, and you've got the spiral reaching up through the hands. Hands, palms are rotating. Press and release it. So, and then in this case, play with kind of coiling in and then rolling into the movement. You can play with where you look, you can either look kind of into the horizon line, you can look down to the base hand. Yes. And it's going to increase that spiral line through the body. Land into that front foot. Raise it, release it. Right. Good. And then just take it to the other side. So step foot forward, back hand goes up, front hand goes down. Just open up that line. You've got two lines. In this case, the kind of tension line through the hands, through the back, and also the line from the feet to the hands, right across the body. Great. That's it, great. Great, and then just shaking out the wrist at the top, release the body. And the arms. And shaking the legs a little bit. Very good. And planting the feet, shaking out the whole body. And just set everybody down. Take it to a little bit of a shake through the foot. Great. Okay, grab a joke. We will continue where we stopped yesterday. Good. Joke. Right. So we got partway through the 13 kata, so we'll look at the rest of it. But we'll just start with the first basic move. So we go to one. It's just into the ski, just from there. So just play with that for the first. You just a nice, strong rounded ski starting on the left side. Whole body goes together, round in, and pull back. Great. Good. Good. Great. We'll go to number 2. So you're going from the ski, the left side, into a 𝘭𝘪𝘐 on the right, and rounding down. Back into the first position. So ski, changing over straight into 𝘭𝘪𝘐. Nice, strong strike down. Oh. Good. We'll take this to the first 4. So you're going now ski on the left, 𝘭𝘪𝘐 on the right. You're drawing back into a block, keeping the right foot forward, and then you're thrusting again on the right side. 1 through 4 goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Great. Okay, great. So one detail I didn't go into yesterday is the kind of line work in this form. So most of the time with 𝗧𝗪𝗡 work, you're working just straight down the line. You're looking for the simplest form. So for example, like the first ski 𝗧𝗪𝗡 is just basically straight down the line when we do the 𝗧𝗪𝗡 work. I'm just looking, again, the simplest form to do it. In terms of this kata, what it's looking at is wedging and different responses to a ski, basically a straight line attack and different movements to deal with that movement. So the first movement in this case for the ski is to leave the line on the left side, basically wedge the line. So if you imagine, or if you've got a line that you can actually work to, what I'm doing is rather than going straight down the line, I'm leaving the line, and then the thrust is basically striking back onto that line. So if you imagine the original line you're on, the ski is just basically meeting it, and the body's doing that too. So you're basically dealing with a straight line attack, and you're wedging off the line here. Same thing is going to happen on the Hayagaishi. You're going to leave the line, in this case on the right side, and then striking off to the side of the line. And so those first two, wedging to the left, and then wedging to the right side of the line. Okay? This is about kind of how to change the body. Leaving the line left side, leaving the line on the right side. And they're both, in this case, responses to a thrust coming into the body. So those are the first two. And then we'll deal with the lock and that second ski as well. Those are the first two, nice simple ones. Basically just different ways to leave the line. Left side, right side. Good. That's it, perfect. Great. Okay, great. And then the block and the ski also deal with a kind of wedging of the line. So in this case, you're on that right side striking position. What you can do is wedge the block. So rather than the block just going straight back, something like this, it's wedging the jo out this way. So the jo is basically meeting the ski this way, and you're trying to get underneath it this way. And then from this position, I lead with the front foot and follow straight down the line in this one. So you go off to the left, right, go off to the right, strike, and then this block is a wedge, and the back foot's off the line, and the front foot's basically back on the line this way. You've wedged off to the side, and then this foot's going to basically inject the ski in straight down the line. So again, you're looking to basically gather underneath the attack, and then thrusting straight down. So slightly different response in this case, or slightly different idea. Basically just slightly wedging off the line with a block, and then re-entering straight down the line in this one. So the jo's got some kind of interesting ways to deal with attacks on the line. First two is dealing with this idea of just leaving the line. And then this second one's, or this tactic is basically this idea of wedging with the block. And you're creating the pathway for the next attack. There's the ski. Good. Great. And then the next part of the kata with the hasso is dealing with a strike which is coming to the back of the body. So this is why you're making the rotation. You've got a thrust coming to the back side of the body, and you're looking to rotate into it and block it this way. And you're using the hasso movement to basically cover the body to the back. And then from this position, use the hasso to come up to a position where you can strike from. In this case, you're going into a strike to the back. So just blow this from that ski position. You can either start in the ski kamae, or actually it's better to actually start with the ski, so thrust into it. And then from this position, you've got this position, you go all the way around it, lock all up into the hasso, and then the strike in the case is just off the line. You're actually doing in this 5 and 6, you're dealing with 2 skis. The first one's coming to the back as you make the hasso, and then the second is coming in here at the point when you're in the hasso kamae, and then you're striking off to the right side, leaving the line. So it's dealing with, in this case, a thrust coming to the back. Use the hasso to cover the body. Use the rest of that rotation to get you into a position where you can strike and respond. And then you use it to strike to the right side. Yeah, great. Really nice. Nice. Yeah. And then in this case, go into the full form, so 1 through 6. Just take your time in the Hasso position. So it's a really nice position. Just hang out a little bit in it. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up. It's a bit difficult if you've not got the space at the top, but really use this form. It's a nice big open movement. And then from here, whipping the body into the strike. Okay, so there's a kind of stretching open, and then in going into that second to the follow-up strike on 2. Just take your time with the form. 1, 2, you're looking to really make space through the form. 3, 4, 5, nice, big up to the top. And then 6, striking that down to the ground. So 1 through 6, that's where we got to yesterday. We will continue a little bit more. That's great. Good. Nice. Great. Perfect. Good. Great. Perfect. Okay, so that's 1 through 6. We'll look at the second part of the kata. Again, it's just dealing with different ways to respond to a ski. So in this case, if you just think about being on that right side, strike, and then you've got another thrust coming to the back. This deals with another way to go into it. The first way was going into that Hasso, that big rotation no finger. This way is a little bit more simple, but you're going to rotate from the right leg. So you're going to shift the position, and then the top end of the jo is going to swipe across the body this way, and I finish at the side of the body in this position, so that the jo's kind of wedged off, and using the top end of the weapon just to cover and parry the body. You can think of this as a block against a ski coming to the side of the body. It also works if you think about it as a 𝘥𝘢𝘦𝘦 coming to the back of the head, and you're basically carrying the jo to the side. So in this case, you're starting right side, right leg forward. Keep that right leg rotated, and then you go pivot around it. Finish at the side of the body on the left side, and then the next position from here is the thrust. So you're in this case 6, 7 with the rotation, and then 8 finishing with the speed. So we'll just do that last into the second part of the form. So it's a pivot around. Perfect. So. And this movement serves 2 purposes. 1 is to protect the body, and the second is to set you up in a position where you can just thrust. So the end of this position, the back arm's extending, right arm's released, and then from here you can go straight into the ski. So you pivot around, pause at that point. You've got a really triangulated position of the body, and then from here you straight down the line with this one. You're wedging the block, and then you're straight down the line with it. Again, it's just a slightly different tactic. You are wedging with the rotation and then straight down the line. Very nice. Yeah, great. Oh. Right, so that bit's nice and simple. We'll go to one that's a little bit trickier. In this case, we'll work at it isolated, and then we'll bring it together. So if you think about finishing where you just were on the ski, in this case, you're going to pull back just as if you were going to do a 𝘭𝘪𝘵𝑔𝑎𝑖 this way. But in this case, you use the movement for a block. Same idea, you've got a thrust coming down the center line of the body. You use the back end of the jo, basically to protect the body. And what I'm looking to do in this case is to wedge straight down the line. So I don't leave the line in this one. What I do is I use the jo to cover the body. and it covers the body so that I can press forward with a step. Okay, so you're opening the hip work, bringing the jo around, and then from here you're passing through with the body straight down the line. And then from here, the top end of the jo is going to be used for the ski. So again, it's the same idea. You use a block, a wedging block, but in this case, it's a little bit different. You're rolling straight down the line. So you roll into it, you step through, and then you find in a ski for the backside. So in this case, in the katas 9 and 10, it's really one movement, but for a basic form, it's going to kind of go in, pause at that point. Again, you're set up for the ski. You've got an extension through the backhand, and then you're going to use it to thrust forward. In this case, using the back end of the weapon to protect and thrust. It's a really nice one for the hips as well. It's got a really open hip position. Center rolls over the foot. So great. There we go. Very nice. Great. There we go. And this is a nice part of the kata really that goes together. So if you think about starting where we did in 6 on the right side, you sweep to the black with a block, you thrust forward, draw back, draw up into that block that we were in 10, then 11 to finish this form. You're in position 6, 7 blocks to the back, 8 thrust in, 9 retreat, 10 rolls through with the block, 11 goes with that 𝘭𝘰𝘠𝑦𝘪𝑐𝑡𝗠𝗏. A really nice part of the form, actually. A rotation, thrust, retreat, block in, thrust back. So your right side, roll to the back, thrust on the right side, roll back, high blocks, high speed. Oh. Yeah. 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 Very good, very good. Yeah, Krista, in this point, when you've made the ski, so you've done the rotation, you've done this ski, and then pull it back like you're going to go into a 𝘭𝘭𝑪𝑘𝑖. So you go right back, hands at the front, and then you roll through the hip this way. Back end comes up, and then you're through into that left ski. Yeah, that's it.
Will you show one more time the whole
Yeah,
move?
sure. You go. So you've got the rotation. This bit's fine, and then you've got the ski, fine, and then from here, draw all the way back to the body, and then roll through this high block, press the left foot in, and then you're into the ski that way. You've got, yeah, roll to the back, thrust in, all the jo all the way back, through with the high block, and then with the other ski.
Thank you.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and then the thrust in this case, Chris, is going to be the same direction. So as you go into this block and step through, the thrust is going to be in the same way. So you release the thrust to the same side this way, going forward. So as you roll through, step, and then thrust forward. Roll through with the block, step through, thrust forward the same way. So that's it. Good. That's it. Good. We'll just add the last 2 movements. So that's up to 11, 12 and 13, relatively simple in this case. But it's dealing with, in this case, a block. using the back end of the weapon and then thrusting with the front end. So you finish in 11, that position. You release the hand, roll into a block back, and then thrusting down the line this way. So we'll just add those in. So you're at 6. You go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then from here, 12, rolling back with a block. You're in 𝘭𝘫𝗡𝗡, and then finishing with a final ski. Right. So this is 6 to 13. Sorry, 7 to 13. 7, 8, 9, 10, root, 11, all back with the block, and then 13. Oh. Right.
I lost you somewhere.
We'll go. I go really slow. Actually, we go from 6. So you're in position the right side. You've got the block to the back. 7. You're thrusting in on the right side. All back, blocking high as you step through on the left side. Thrusting on the left foot. Rolling the jaw back into 𝘭𝘫𝗡𝗡. Finishing on the left. Yeah. Okay, we'll see if we can go through the whole kata. So take your time with it. It's actually, in this case, it's actually one of the advanced katas that we do, apart from the 31, which is quite a basic form. It's just long, short form, but it's quite advanced, and you're dealing with quite a lot of difficult movements. The basic form's really nice, but it's really designed to be flowing. So a lot of these responses, block and the thrust, they're actually one kind of rhythm in terms of the movement. But just start with a nice basic form. So in this case, we start with the left side. We've got the ski 1, we've got 𝘭𝘰𝘠𝘭𝘪𝘏 2. Give yourself time to settle each time. 3, you're going into the block. 4, you're coming with the ski. 5, you're going to the hatso, rotating to the back. 6, striking down your form. Going to the rotation back. 7, 8, thrusting on the other side. 9, pulling back. 10, locking through height. 11, thrusting jaw down, rolling back into 𝘭𝘫𝗡𝗡 with a block. And then 13 is finishing the ski. And then you should return back to the beginning. You've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hello, Sarina. Sarina.
Michael.
Hello. We're just looking at the 13, so we're finishing off the 13 kata. Okay, great. Last week, what I want to do, we can keep going over it, but it's also interesting. Sometimes you make mistakes in the form, and sometimes you kind of mix up the forms. Sometimes I do the hasa in the wrong position. It's fine. In this case, I actually play with it. So I won't start in the beginning of the form and then just kind of improvise off it. So you can do the form as it is, totally fine. It's a great form, but you can also play with it. So there's a couple of sections where you might kind of get lost in the form. Totally fine. It just happens. So sometimes you kind of go into it. Oh, I go this way and go through it. Just play with it a little bit. There's parts of the form you feel very comfortable with. Just kind of play with those. There's bits where I don't really know where the form goes. It's fine. Just play with it a little bit, particularly the KATA work as well. And just use this as the beginning, use this as a kind of jumping off point, and then just play with it. So if you do the full KATA and do it, you can also change it up a little bit. Maybe something changes. Play with it. So you want to create a really clear ending in the beginning. So it's a nice one to start with. So a few places you can start to add in movements as well. Play a little bit with it. Okay, great. We'll play with one. This is kind of a variation on the form. This comes from actually, we were playing with the 13 Jo kata with a spear. So it's a kata. A lot of the movements make sense for working with basically a sharp blade at the end. So particularly the first part of the kata, you're thinking about thrusting in and then slicing with the tip end, locking, thrusting with the back end of the weapon, with the front end of the weapon. Sorry. The only part that doesn't really make sense is the hasso part of the movement, because as you go into the hasso and you go into the strike, you end up with the blade edge pointing towards the body this way. So this is one solution that you can use, and it's just a nice one to play with different hand positions. We'll play with this. You go into the ski, you go into the hasso. Now you've got to imagine in this case, the blade edge is actually down, so that the point of the spear would be down. And then what I'm going to use in this case, rather than striking with the top end, I'm going to thrust with the back end of the weapon. And you go into like the 𝘱𝑒 we do with the hasso work, but it's, imagine the tip end is at the base of the jo, and then you use it to thrust in, and then you whip the tip of the jo back, and then you cut with the back end, with the point of the spear. Okay, so in this case, below this one, it's a ski. You roll through the hasso, you thrust in with the back end of the jo, you whip the back end up to the top, and then you cut in again with the right side. So it's just a little bit of a short form, and it's one that you can integrate back into the kata itself. But it's a nice one to play with. And if you've got a spear like Adrian hanging around, you can also use. I need to get one of those. So that's it. Back. There we go. Great. So I just show you this handwork trend. It's a nice one. So if you get into the hasso, it's fine. Now the top hand's open, and that hand's open to basically allow a variety of movements. One is to go into the strike and go into this one. The movement we go to now is to allow the jo to roll through that hand, open hand, and as it reaches the back end, the hand takes, and then you thrust in this way. Okay, so the move in this case to get is just the sense of dropping. It's like the jo just drops towards the ground, and then you catch it in that motion, and then you thrust in with it. So you're going from here, open hand position, let it roll through, the weight drains down, and then you thrust in. So, okay. So you end up in this hand position. And then from here, really simple change in this case, the right hand just shifts forward a little bit, shifts forward, and then I use this hand to take, and then I just let the Joe whip out of the hand. As I do it, I let the left hand take the weapon. So you've got two hand work positions. You've got one, shifts this way, and then two, it takes at the back end this way. And then from this hand position, you just change, reorientate it for the strike this way. It's a really nice handwork pattern for the body. To change, yeah, it's quite useful to think about a spear at the back end. Thrust in with the back, roll it back up, and then slice with the spear again. What's that? Very nice. Yeah, good, great. Oh, John's got a spear as well. Great. Everybody's got a spear. Oh, you got the spears hiding. Great. Wow, great. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Good. And then if you think about the second part of the kata, actually fits perfectly with the spear work. You're actually using different sides of it, sometimes using the tip and sometimes using the butt end of the spear. So from this position, the spear's at the front, you're going into the block, thrusting with the tip, pulling it back. In this case, the spear's actually in the front hand in this position, and then you're rolling with the back end. So using the butt end of the Joe, in this case, the spear, and then you're thrusting with it using the back end, and then it's basically how to bring the tip back and then use it to thrust in again. So you're using this motion for two things. One's to get the block, and the second's to get the spear tip back orientated to the front. So you finish again with the tip in the front in the end. But again, it's nice to just imagine. If you don't need to imagine, use the spear. Very good. Right. So the kata actually works quite well, apart from that hasso part. Great. Very nice. Great. Good. We'll just finish with one movement. In this case, it's like a flexion extension exercise. So it's similar to one we looked at yesterday, the sense of kind of reach and go, going into the foot. You just take this one a little bit further. So you start with this movement. Okay, so you're at the either end of the weapon. You bring the foot forward, reach up and over. And then in this case, as you come back, don't bring the foot back, but let the body arc through. And you bring the toes up on the side, hinge through, and let the jaw press to the body and let the arms extend. And you're bringing the chest towards the leg, and then you open back out. So just stay on one side with this one. Big opening up to the top. Let the jaw go all the way back if you can. And then as you bring the jaw back over, hinge the hips back, reach forward through this hinge, let the toes come up, and let the jaw come back into the body. So going full extension up at the top, full flexion at the back end of the movement. And just let the breath work with it. So you got big breath in, big breath out as you close. Really nice one for the legs as well. So good for the shoulders, good for the hips, legs. That one. Yeah. So as you go down, let the jaw just come into the body, hinge the body forward, add a little bit of pressure back with the arms. Great. Very nice. Good. And then just take it to the other side. So you take the leg forward, then hinge back, raise the jaw, press the jaw into the body, back hinge the body towards the leg, raise up open, hinge back and down. Letting the weight shift between the legs. Run steady, go, bit easier. Go. Good. And last one, just for the legs. In this case, you're going to bring the hands together, feet together, reach up to pull up onto the toes. And then for me, you're just going to sit down, go into a low squat that's comfortable. Let the jaw come horizontal with the ground. And then pull back up. Stay on the toes as you raise up. Take a breath in. Breathe out as you come down. Dip into the squat a little bit at the bottom. Raise up and up with the breath. Down with the out breath. Great, and after the last one, just sink back onto the heels. Let the feet come a little bit wider. Let the arms come a little bit wider. Just shake out a little bit. You get the shoulders. And letting the feet settle. Let the movement settle into the body. Good. We will bow up right there. Great. どうもありがとうございます。
どうもありがとうございました。
All right.